Hello everyone, my name is Tang and today I would like to tell you some short talk. The first talk is about a woman is talking about her new course. First, she introduced that her new course named Introduction to Economics, and her new course had a textbook named Economics for the New Millennium. She also she also stated that uh, the textbook the textbook were available on the university bookstore. Then after that she commented that it was a bit it was a bit steep, although she thought it was worth the prices. After that, she reminded students to bring the books to the next class, and finally she informed it that there would be two exams, a midterm and a final, and, and students would write several research papers. Thank you. Now next to the next short talk. Now let's talk about the second talk. This talk is about the new return policies, and the speaker might be the store manager, and the listener is the staff members. First, the store manager suggested everyone that they should be aware of the new return policy. He asked everyone not to accept any return items with outdated receipts. And after that, he also reminded the member staffs to check the return items carefully before accepting them, because in the past they had a problem with their customer returning damaged goods. And finally, he also mentioned that their store issues only store credits, not cash. And he asked everyone to let him know if there were any complaints about that. That's the end of the second talk. Now let's do the third talk. In this talk, the doctor assistant is talking to the patient. First, she introduced herself, and she said that was Dr. Cabret's office, and she asked the patient to hand up. And call the ambulance if it was an emergency. And she also stated that if the patient would like to have an appointment or ask for medical advice, please call back during the regular office hour. And she said that the office hour was from 10 to 6, Monday to Friday, and from 9 to 12 on the first Saturday of each month. And finally, the assistant reminded customer that they should make an appointment before visiting, because they didn't accept walking. That's the end of the third third talk. Now let's move to the talk number 4. This talk is about landing instruction. The speaker might be a pilot and the listener was all flight attendants. First, the pilot told all flight attendants to remind all the passengers that they would be landing shortly. Then he asked all flight attendants to check to make sure all seat belts were fastened, and check if there were any passenger requiring extra assistance with small children, or if there were any passenger need help getting in connecting flights. Now let's move on to the fifth talk. This fifth talk is a radio reporter made by a woman. First, the woman introduced that the following was the public service announcement made by XYZ Radio. Then she stated that because of the droughts, official governments were asking all city residents to conserve water. All city residents were asked not to fill the swimming pool and watering garden. And she also mentioned that although the official government was asking the city residents on the voluntary basis. However, if the situations became severe, fine would be composed. And after that, finally, she suggested the listener stay in tune for the further notice. Thank you for listening. Now let's move to the last talk. This talk is about the information for all city events through hotlines, and the speaker may be a reporter. First, the reporter stated that for trader schedule and ticket order, press 1, and for museum information, including information of the special exhibit, the lecture series at the Art Museum, and the foreign film at the History Museum, press 2, and finally, he also mentioned that to hear about the upcoming sport events at the CD Stadium, please press 3. And finally, he reminded that to talk to an operator, stay on the line. Okay, that's the end of the all short talk. Thank you for listening.